Hi, I'm out here in Davis, California today, meeting with an old friend of mine, Mike Bungay. Please excuse the background noise. We got a road crew doing a little work. But Mike is given up dirt bike racing after many years, and now he builds world-class road racers for vintage road racing. And we have his latest creation in front of us here. And Mike, tell us a little bit about this.
Well, this particular bike has a bit of a long history, but it's a one-off Harley-Davidson Sprint. It has a special frame built by an actual local guy who has an extensive racing history, was once Mert Lowell's manager, and a number of other national dirt track riders. But in his retirement, he started building chassis, and he's built me the first ever Jim Bellin chassis, and I'm expecting 4 or 3 more. But this is the first bike off. We've been racing one like it for about 5 years. And about 4 years ago, I met a guy named Dave Roper, who is a world-class rider. In fact, the only American that's ever won the Isle of Man. And he's been riding this bike and helping develop it. And with Carl Englander, another Sacramento guy, who's done extension engine development on this bike. And we believe now it's certainly the fastest sprint in the country. It's 350 cc's, certainly the fastest one in the country, and very well might be the fastest in the world. But we're going to a race in Utah this weekend, and then following that in about a month, the biggest race of the year, in fact probably the biggest vintage race in the world, in Daytona and Barber, Alabama.
Mike, have you had some success with this bike in places like Daytona?
Actually, last year in the first World Championships, there were 2 races at Daytona, 2 races at Barber. We won the first at Barber. We were ahead by half a lap in the second. In the last lap, the ignition wire broke. At Daytona, we won both races. Roper won the first one, and I let a friend of mine ride it who won Daytona in 1965, had not raced there since, and went out on this bike, never having been ridden it before, and won by over 30 seconds. So it was pretty exciting.
Mike, through all the years, I remember motocrossing with you, Friday night racing, Marysville, places like that, the International Old Timers races, and we always had great fun. How do you get your fun now? You're not actually riding this, but this is your baby, right? You created this?
Well, I actually raced this bike for a couple of years. And then what happened, as the bike got faster, we moved farther up in the field. And pretty soon started going against guys who were national caliber and world-class riders. And in vintage road racing, as opposed to motocross, motocross is age group and skill level specific. So, for example, I'm 67, and I can enter in the 60 group and race against 60 years old. The road racing, doesn't matter how old you are or what skill level, you race against the top guys. So I simply couldn't compete against those guys, and I started building the bikes, and I think it's as much or more fun. So I don't miss the riding a bit. I really enjoy the building the bikes and keep trying to make them go faster and faster.
And that's what you're doing right here in Davis, California. So, Mike, we look to see you out there, number 7 on the tracks of America in some of these vintage races. Thanks for your help today.
Thanks, Art.